Have you ever really thought about what happens after water goes down the drain? Well, it goes on this incredible journey to a treatment plant, where this kind of hidden microscopic battle is being fought to get it clean again. Today, we're going to dive into the really cool science that helps keep our cities running, all by taming one of the toughest materials out there, wastewater sludge.
So let's just get right to it. What is the big deal here? Why is it so ridiculously hard to get the solid gunk, the sludge, to separate from the water? I mean, you'd think it would be simple, right? But the answer is actually rooted in some pretty fascinating and kind of counterintuitive chemistry.
You see, the whole problem starts at a level you can't even see with the naked eye. It's what we're calling the sludge standoff. It's this constant state of repulsion that's happening between literally billions and billions of tiny particles just floating around in the water.
Okay, so here's the absolute core of the problem. Every single one of these little sludge particles has a negative electrical charge. And if you remember anything from science class, you know that things with the same charge, well, they do not want to hang out. They're constantly pushing each other away. This is the perfect way to picture it, really. You've got these countless tiny magnets, all flipped the wrong way, forcing each other to keep their distance. And that constant pushing is what keeps them suspended in the water, making it pretty much impossible for them to settle out on their own. So how on earth do you get them to cooperate?
Well, if they won't get together on their own, you bring in a matchmaker. And this is where our hero, the polymer, steps onto the scene. A polymer is basically this big, specially designed molecule that's built to do one thing really, really well, and the standoff.
So how does this matchmaking work? Well, it's classic chemistry. Opposites attract. Since our sludge particles are all negative, the perfect partner is what's called a cationic polymer, because it carries a positive charge. Now, sure, there are other types out there for different jobs, but for the stuff coming from our cities, it's the cationic polymer that does almost all of the heavy lifting. Okay, so we've found the perfect match. How does this actually happen? It's not as simple as just dumping it in. It's more like a really elegant, carefully choreographed two-step dance.
First up, you have coagulation. This is where the positive polymer rushes in and basically cancels out that negative charge on all the sludge particles. And just like that, the repulsion is gone. Then comes step 2, flocculation. With a little bit of gentle mixing, these now neutral particles start bumping into each other, and instead of pushing away, they stick together, forming bigger and bigger clumps we call flocs.
And here's where it gets even more clever. These polymers aren't just neutralizing charges, they're also these incredibly long chains. So they act like, well, like bridges or even nets, physically grabbing onto a bunch of different particles and pulling them all together. This is what builds those big, strong flocs that are finally heavy enough to separate out from the water.
So this is all cool science, but why is it so important? Why did polymers basically take over the industry? Well, like a lot of things, it comes down to being more efficient, and you guessed it, saving a lot of money.
See, before polymers became common, people used these inorganic chemicals like lime or ferric salts. And they worked, but here was the problem. They added a ton of extra weight and bulk to the sludge. And more sludge means you need more trucks to haul it, you burn more fuel, and you pay way higher disposal fees. It was a massive expense. But polymers? They get the job done while adding almost zero extra mass. Less bulk means lower costs. It's just a way smarter approach.
And this quote right here just nails it. You might have to pay a little more for the polymer itself up front, but the money you save by not having to haul and get rid of all that extra weight, oh yeah, it makes it a fantastic investment in the long run. It's a total no-brainer.
But here's the thing. You can't just grab any polymer off the shelf and dump it in. Every single wastewater stream is a little bit different. So finding the perfect polymer and the perfect amount to use is a really precise science.
To get it just right, technicians in a lab do something called jar testing. It's basically what it sounds like. They take a bunch of samples of the sludge in jars and run mini experiments, trying out different polymers in different doses. They're hunting for that perfect sweet spot, the exact recipe that gets the job done most effectively, for the lowest possible overall cost.
So, the next time you turn on the tap for a glass of water, you can kind of appreciate all this elegant, invisible chemistry that's working hard behind the scenes. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other massive, complex problems are being solved all around us, every single day, by tiny molecules we can't even see?